I have a 2019 S5 running Stage 1 ECU E85 and Stage 2 TCU. I've put about 2,500 miles on the car tuned and have subsequently burned through 1 quart of engine oil. No leaks. Is this normal?
A quart and 2,500 miles is normal. I mean,
It's on the high side.
it's on the high side, but it's. I mean, I think Audi's tolerance is almost half that in mileage for what a dealer will say is abnormal.
Yeah, I mean, I would just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a one single data point, and it could have been a half a quart low when you tuned it, and so you're actually not talking about a 2,500 mile range. You're talking about a 10,000 mile range. So just keep an eye on it. But adding oil to any engine is normal. Engines do consume oil slowly, and the reason for that is oil is inside the crankcase, and the piston is inside the crankcase. The very top of the piston is sealed to the cylinder bore of the engine and to the combustion chamber of the cylinder head. And so as as the piston moves up and down in the cylinder bore, oil is all over the cylinder walls. And so there are piston rings that specifically scrape the oil off the cylinder walls and keep it out of the combustion chamber. But invariably, they don't scrape 100.0% of the oil off the cylinder walls. Maybe they scrape 99% of it off. So there's still 1% of oil that's deposited on the cylinder walls that gets into the combustion chamber and burns as part of the combustion cycle.
Yeah, there's several interfaces like that. There's the valve stem seals, basically the exact same process. They
Valve
are
stems,
turbo housings.
So anytime you have a
some amount.
seal in the engine, keeping engine crankcase oil away from the induction side of the engine, you are going to consume oil. So there's again no such thing as perfect sealing of oil, and so just the small amounts of it burn every time the crankshaft goes around. So after 10,000 miles, you could use up a quart. Now, once those piston ring tolerances loosen and wear as the engine ages, or if the engine never broke in properly from the factory, or there's something slightly wrong, it's going to be higher. But for that reason, the factories all give kind of a range of engine oil consumption that's acceptable. And based on what you posted here, I don't think you definitively know that it was 1 quart and 2,500 miles. So why don't you keep an eye on it? Simple to do on a phone app or on a piece of paper in your glove box. But I think you'll find it's probably
these cars are kind of tricky too, because it's all the MMI based oil level, so you're not getting maybe quite as much resolution as ye olden days when you actually had a dipstick to look at.
Mm-hmm. But I think he's going to find it's fine. Yeah. And the tuning doesn't necessarily change the amount of oil consumption in the motor. It doesn't affect the way your piston rings seal or any of that stuff.